Check. How about now? Can you hear me now? It helps when you plug it in. Check. How about now? Can you hear me now? It helps when you plug it in. Cool. So. Oh, God. Falling behind. So yeah, we're playing Anya, the single worst Boros commander, and we will probably be talking about bans today. Yeah, this is my first EDH game post banning. Yeah, we'll probably be talking about bans today. I'm sure that's gonna come up. I did just film a video on it. I'll probably get that out tomorrow morning. Yeah, that was not news I was expecting today. That is for sure. Dismantling Wave is not a land, but we play the Saxguard Armory. Hopefully find that third land in a timely fashion. I am cheating on lands a little bit, though. Yeah, worst Boros commander up until Odric Blood Curse was printed. That is somehow worse than what I think this is. I've tried Anya a number of times in the past, and it has been a miserable experience, and I hate playing this. And I don't know why I keep doing this to myself, where every few years I feel like I need to go back and try it again. I'm like, maybe it's gotten better. No, maybe it's just as miserable as the last time I played it. I will say that the 99 of this deck is a lot stronger than it used to be. So that might be something. Opponent got Yavimaya and Urborg. Oh, God, Glissa. So, yeah, we'll see how this goes. Hopefully we don't just get land stuck. That would be terrible. At least get to the third one here. Third land. All right. All right. Not out of this just yet. Play the thing, mountain. And Stoneforge Mystic. We've got the ramp thing already, so I guess we go Mask of Memory right here. And that'll set us up perfectly to get the mask going for next turn. Mask of Memory. So there's a couple things you could do, but I decided to go heavy equipment to get my value for this deck. There's some other ways you could do it that probably require me to be more inventive, which I'm a little tired after the filming, so I wasn't that inventive with it. I'm just like, all right, give me a good Boros frame, and we're going to try to make this thing work, even if it's not like super heavily customized to Anya. It is a little bit. I started down like a Boros Reckoner path with like Repercussion and burn spells and stuff. And then I kind of just shifted off of it because I ran out of deck slots. And I'm like, I know I've tried this before, and it always seems like it falls short. I'm like, with enough determination, you could probably make it happen. There's a Sword of the Animist. Okay, things are looking up. Plus that extra card draw gives us another chance to find our fourth land, which would also be really cool. Also, to the original question, yes, this stream is going to stay on. It took me a little while to get all the buttons dialed in again because I haven't streamed in a little bit. Kind of forgot what I was supposed to press. Hello, welcome. No more need for the Mana Crypt house ban. That is true. And, you know, honestly, all right, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. Mana Crypt, Dockside Extortionist, Jeweled Lotus, and Nadu. Nadu, I don't really care about that much. It's a new card, and it was, like, admitted to be a mistake, and I don't know that there's people that are terribly upset about that. Land Tax is a sight for sore eyes, although... Are we on the play? Yeah, I think we're on the play. So that land tax on the play is, like, not the best until a green deck does some ramping. So, yeah, I think it's just Mask of Memory time then. Play this mountain. Play the Mask of Memory. Equip the Mask of Memory. What's this? I don't even know if I've seen that one. Heliod? Huh. We got Glissa and what's this one? The infamous Cruel Claw. Oh, we don't have a way in there. So, Glissa seems like the one. They will probably blow up all of our stuff at some point, and that will be terrible. People are so upset with the ban list. Are that, honestly, I haven't been on social media that much since the announcement happened. I checked in on Twitter a little bit. Ooh, another land. I actually don't know if we're going to get value out of land tax, because pretty soon here we're probably talking about Hearth and Home and Sword of the Animist. So I think we're actually getting rid of the land tax, which makes me a little sad. But yeah, no, I'm sure people are raging. I've been through bans before, and people just rage for no reason. And, with these ones in particular, these were expensive cards. They were expensive cards that were staples of the format, Like on Magic Online, and I talk about this, is you put Mana Crypt in every deck if you have a Mana Crypt. And, right, it's just that kind of card. It makes your deck better in all cases. In my opinion, the single strongest card in the format, up until it's, well, not anymore, but until about noontime today, it was the strongest card in this format, in my opinion. And very happy to see it go. But yeah, no, I mean, whenever there's bans, people are going to rage. And, to some extent, I do feel bad for people that spent a lot of money on these cards, right? I have 2 Mana Crypts in paper and 1 to 2 Docksides. I can't remember. I got to go count. But, that's a little bit of money. It's tied up into those things. And I don't know what those are going to do value-wise. If they tank, that'll be terrible. I would love to get some value out of them. Maybe turn them into more Feast and Famines or something like that. That'd be fun, right? Also need to get some Bitter Thorns in my life, because those are kind of expensive too. But yeah. So I do feel bad for people that have spent a lot of money on these cards, and, that part does suck. Bans just feel bad, but the balance of the game has been out of whack for a while. And, so many times, especially when you're in a public setting, like a Command Fest or something like that, you think you're signing up for a chill game, and out comes the Mana Crypt, and out comes Grevin on turn 3, and now you're taking a shot for 15 on turn 4, and just what? I don't think this is what I signed up for. So, yeah. Overall, I am happy about the bans. I know people are going to feel bad. I know people are going to rage and do crazy and stupid things. Don't do those things. Don't be crazy and stupid. You can be a little upset if you want to. Be respectful about whoever you might have discourse with. But, yeah. So yeah, I'm sure people are freaking out. But the Plaguecrafter, really? Well, we're going to find another creature. I guess we have the Brunor. That is a creature. He's going to slow down the plans here, though. Let's see what chat says here. Dockside will be missed from your Boros builds, but it's a necessary sacrifice. Yeah. Everyone I've talked to has kind of been in that boat. They're like, okay, yeah, I get it, right? Do I like playing with the cards? Yes, but, I understand the greater good scenario that's going on here. Yeah, right? When Dockside shows up, it tends to win the game, especially at any point, after turn 5. Open game Magic Online. We lost one already. Down one goes. That being the case, this game will probably go quick, and we can probably get a second game in. What's this one say? Unless you have 2 or more opponents. We still have 2 opponents, so we'll play that one. We're going to play this Brunor and just hope that this one doesn't also get blown up. So much value in our hand, though. I do like that. Someone in chat did say that this Heliod is disgusting, so we should probably read it. Heliod the Radiant Dawn with Heliod the Warped Eclipse on the backside. 4 mana for... well, I guess the game just crashed. So there's that. I guess we're starting a new game. That's annoying. We had so much value in our hand. Now. Oh, God. That's frustrating. Well, back to the queue. No CEDH. Utilize current ban list casual. That sounds like us. Dwubber says the RC's job, in my opinion, is to influence how games with strangers play out, and unfortunately, not to safeguard the value of folks' investments. Yeah, I agree with that. Right, like Commander has gotten big. People play a lot of Commander in a lot of ways, that it's not just your local play groups anymore, right? You have Spell Table, you have did Play EDH shut down? Is that still going? I don't remember. Um, stuff like that where you're orchestrating a lot of games of Commander with people that don't know each other, and then of course the Command Fests. And in particular for me, I think the Command Fests have been some of the most egregious offenders where it's weird because people that go to Command Fests are usually very invested in the game. So you think that they would have an understanding of what is powerful and what is not, but it's almost the opposite. So when I go to a Command Fest, that's when the Mana Crypts come out and in the casual games, and that's when I got turn 5 Thassa's Oracled in a casual game, and you know, it's the Command Fest where that stuff has been happening to me. At least with my local play group, there's a section of people at the shop that play really strong decks, and that they play really strong decks. So it's easy to adjust to that. But yeah, I do think that a lot of it is, yeah, there's a lot of games with strangers happening, and because there's such a wide range of power, you need to rein that in just a little bit, narrow that range, just so there's not such a discrepancy between, uh, you know, the highest and the lowest. Mana Crypt should be okay value wise. Yeah, and so there's a whole discussion there. Like, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what's going to happen to the prices. There's any number of ways that they all go to nothing and it's terrible and then we all want to cry. There's also a lot of ways in which the values maintain at least somewhat. And I don't know what's going to happen, but there's been a lot of talk about CEDH kind of splitting off. And if it does that, and I do think that this might be a sticking point for that to happen, that if that happens, then Mana Crypt probably retains some value. Dockside probably would too, right? Because those are still going to be, as far as I know, those will still be continued to be played in CEDH if CEDH breaks off. And, I do think that this could be the catalyst for that to happen. So, there is a world in which these things don't completely lose all their value. And in some sense, that would be cool. Now that I can no longer use them, I would like to sell them, get some value, and, do something fun with that. So much value, but only one land. No. Oh, we got Mask in the opener. Bitterthorn. Oh, that's going to be a sad mulligan right there. Into I am cheating on lands too hard, the no lander. The mostly equipment hand. I forgot to talk about this in my video today, but I'll talk about it. So, lately I've been playing a lot of Blizzard games again, particularly StarCraft 2 and Heroes of the Storm. Shout out 2014. And, mulligan again. And the thing is, when you play those games, is that there is an attempt to make those games balanced. Are things a little out of whack sometimes? Sure. But for the most part, the intent was to make those games balanced. And when you play Commander, you're like, oh wow, this is horrendously unbalanced. You don't know what you're getting into, and that's kind of rough. Oh, here's a tricky one. So 2 lands Bitterthorn. If we find a 3rd land, life is good. Plus we got spell. Oh, we got to keep it for Spell Shock. Simping for Spell Shock right here. Aurelia to the bottom, hardest to cast, and will take a while. Well, Atraxa's always disgusting. Boral can get kind of weird, too. Surprised that Nadu got banned so early. Yeah, as far as I'm aware, Nadu is the quickest ban other than the Otter, which was a pre-ban. So I'm not aware of anything that got banned as quickly as Nadu. But it's not hard to see why. Oh, draw a Sword of the Animist. So if we ever find mana and or a creature, we're in pretty good shape. Um, Mana Crypt on TCG is a straight line down. Yeah, okay. So if you follow cards and or stock markets, what will probably happen, there will be a big sell-off for, like, let's say the next 2 or 3 days, and my guess, my hope is that there will be a rebound after that, and then it'll kind of stabilize. I would probably not try to sell in. Yeah, again, hashtag not financial advice, but I would probably not try to sell into the fact that everyone is selling right now, because the value is probably going to get crushed. And I mean, will you even be able to find a buyer anyway? I don't know, but yeah, it's like it's already happened, so I would probably just wait. Um, Personally, like, I've seen that before where cards get banned. They dip real hard for a couple days, and then they kind of, they bounce back to, like, they'll regain like 50% of the value basically. And I don't know if it'll be exactly like that, but Mana Crypt went from 180 to 80 today. Okay, yeah, that's a pretty hard drop. If what I'm saying holds true, that means it's probably like 100 or 120 2 weeks from now. Things stabilize out, is my guess. The one thing I guess I'm not accounting for is just that, like, Commander is really big. There are a lot of Commander players. It's in the millions, right? So there's gonna be, like, it's gonna take time for that news to disseminate. I mean, it should disseminate fairly quickly, but not everyone, like, watches Commander content and is on EDH Twitter and all that sort of stuff. So, like, there'll probably be a trickle in effect of people finding out, like, 2, 3, 4, 5 days from now. So there's some of that. You gotta love the irony of WotC printing a card that's literally only usable in one format and then banning that card from that format. Yeah, there is something funny about that. There is something funny about that. Uh, Unbanned Primetime? Never. So, I played during Primetime. Imagine a dockside extortionist, except those treasures are lands, and those lands are Field of the Dead, Glacial Chasm, Strip Mine, Wasteland, and Dark Depths. Well, Blasphemous Act is not a land, but we probably will need to clear the board at some point. I guess we just play the sword. Keep praying for the land. Yeah, if you're, if you don't mind a little risk with your money, this might be a good time to buy Mana Crypts and Docksides. Hashtag not financial advice. And, yeah, I mean, so you're saying buy into the hype? Like, yeah, if you can stomach that risk, then yes. If you cannot and money is tight for you, do not do that. If you've got, a few thousand extra dollars sitting around in the bank that just kind of piling up and you don't know what to do with, sure, gamble with a little money. It is gambling. It is gambling, right? It may go up, it may go down. We don't really know. You built Olivia Opulent Outlaw and really enjoyed. I have to look at that one. Sounds like that's probably from the Thunder Junction set. Here's the deck list, by the way. A lot of equipment, real heavy on 3-drops. What do we got here? We got a Mardu, flying, lifelink, 3/3. Whenever one or more outlaws you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. Cool. One or more, so only one. And then sacrifice 2 treasures, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Yeah, seems like a fun deck. Makes a little bit of mana, makes your team bigger, lifelink. Yeah, I could have fun with that. Man, this game's going really slowly. Nature's Lore. Come on, land number 3. Land number 3 for the Bitterthorn, and then we play the Bitterthorn. Next turn, equip the Sword of the Animist, and then we get 2 lands, and that is very exciting. Third land. Love that. Oh, do I love that. All right, we might get to play Magic here. Cast a Bitterthorn. You've always been vocal about your opinion that Commander as a format does not need bans and is literally designed as the antithesis of banned cards. Yeah, I know a lot of people will make that argument, and I've heard that argument a lot over the years. But you know, I get in some sense, I'm like, if you're the one saying that, you probably are the pub stomper. If you can't see the pub stomper, you are the pub stomper. And I know that's a generalization, but like, again, as some, like, it was my job to play Commander full time, about 3 years ago, right? And when you play a lot of Commander, you see the problems like very clearly, and Mana Crypt was a problem. And again, it's that when you're playing groups you don't know. When you're playing groups you don't know, it was a dice roll. Honestly, one of the things that really kind of slowed down my love of Commander and my content creation of Commander was after I went to the Magic Fest Vegas. I want to say it was 2022. That sounds right. I'd have to double check. I think it was 2022 because 2021 was still pandemic years, I think. So, yeah, I think it was 2022. And I just left that event with a sour taste in my mouth because so many games that were like casual games, or it's like, oh, Mana Crypt, turn 3 Scarab God. You're like, oh God, what? Turn 3 Greven. What else? I lost to an Orvar deck a bunch of times, and then green decks making 8 mana on turn 4 type stuff, right? Like, it was a ton of that, and I would say I had fun in maybe about half of my games. And like, when I go to a Command Fest, I play a lot of games. And you're talking like 20 to 30 games, probably like 8 to 10 a day kind of thing. And so like, I didn't have a great time in many of those. And after that, I really just came back. There was like the fire under me kind of went out, right? I'm just like, oh man, I did not have a great time doing that. And, yeah, that kind of sucked. So, since then it's been just like, it's been much more of a struggle for me to like stay on top of like filming and making content and, all that stuff. Hard to see how these bands don't just make TNT the best deck again, since red is now largely worthless. You still have Underworld Breach in red, which is obviously very powerful. But yeah, I mean, Dockside in CEDH was the reason to play red, right? Um, that's always been a problem with EDH. One person's power level 4 is another person's power level 8. Yeah, right. And that's an ongoing problem in EDH. It's been, been talking about that for what seems like 10 years. Um, you know what I mean? And it's just, that comes down to, there's so many things. I want to do a video on it at some point, but like, one, it comes down to communication. Generally, people are bad at communicating. Two, it comes down to people evaluating their decks. People are generally bad at evaluating their decks. Three, it kind of comes down to, again, just that like, what is an 8? What is a 4? People look at those things differently, right? And so you have like all these little variables that just make, you should have a pregame discussion, but know that the pregame discussion is like fairly ineffective as far as things go, right? Like, it's, the intent is good, but often it misses the mark. Um, have I heard from Jolt lately? Very weird story. So I live in Austin. Jolt lives just south of Dallas, and that's about 3 hours from where I was. That's about 3 hours from Austin, and I was on a date. It was almost about a year ago. Yeah, it was almost about a year ago. It was probably like December of last year, give or take. I was on a date. It was like a little lunch brunch kind of date thing, and I was sitting outside waiting with this girl that I was seeing, and Jolt walks by into like the coffee shop next to the like the brunch place we were, because the brunch places in Austin always have huge lines, so you're always waiting outside for a little bit. And so Jolt walked into the coffee shop right next to that, and I'm like, the girl that I was with started looking at me because I had a weird face, and she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "I think I know that guy." And so I texted Joel. I'm like, hey, are you at a coffee shop in Austin? And when he came out, and, we chatted for maybe about less than 5 minutes. It was probably about 3 minutes, and, did like a real quick introduction kind of thing. And yeah, so we had a quick little chat. And yeah, so I saw him about a year ago. We didn't get like super deep into what everyone's doing and all that stuff. I have no idea why he was in Austin because, again, 3 hours away, and it was, I don't know, 10, 11 a.m. at that point. So yeah. So I've seen him. I don't necessarily know what he's been doing. I should probably like send him a text and just be like, "Hey man, how you doing?" But we did get to do this thing that I was talking about with Sword of the Animist on the Bitterthorn token. That's going to be 2 lands. Would you do it for 2 Scooby Snacks? The answer is yes. Yes, I would. A lot of red in hand, so maybe we go 3 red first. That's some pretty good ramp right there. Feeling good about that. Feeling good about that. We're on pace to do it again next turn. Love that even more. I really want to get Spell Shock in because I've been wanting to play Spell Shock for a while. And if there was ever a deck for Spell Shock, this is it. Give me one sec. I got to refresh my chat here. Hey, we got 33 people in here. Love that. Make sure you hit the like button, by the way, because that should make more people come in here, I think is how that works. So if you like what I'm doing here, hit the like button. Anyway, let's see. Oh, we got a Jace. Gross. I feel like the banning with no previous announcement is all part of the backlash in every other format. Band-Aid announced way before it actually happened, so players have time to prepare. Yeah, there's a little bit of that. I mean, it definitely caught me by surprise today. I wasn't... someone that I don't usually talk to messaged me on Discord and was like, hey, check this. And it was the, Commander, MTG Commander Net website. And then it took forever to load because they, whenever they make an announcement like that, that website does not have the server bandwidth to accommodate the number of people looking at it. So that was not fun. But, yeah, no, it was definitely a surprise today. That is for sure. That is for sure. Has my vision gotten better since the LASIK? Remember you saying it was still fuzzy. So, uh, I think it's maybe about 10% better. I think it's more that I've just grown accustomed to it at this point because now we're a little over a year since the surgery. I did get my vision checked twice, and I am now farsighted and nearsighted with a little bit of astigmatism. And so I see medium distance really well. Like there's a clock over there, and I see that, I see like 10 to 15 feet really, really well. But things that are super close, like reading menus, I feel like my parents, and I gotta do this number to read things, and I feel old. But then also like driving on the highway and looking at highway signs is, it's a little rough also. And I've gone in and complained about it. They hemmed and hawed. I got the thing where like it's free revisions for life kind of thing with and they're like, you're right on the border. And I'm like, part of me is concerned that if I like go under the laser again, that like it could get worse, right? I don't know. The first one was supposed to be magical and like all fixing, and it wasn't quite. Like I don't know if it gets worse if I try it again, right? So for now, I am managing. I am happy to not wear glasses. I feel better. I feel like I look better. I feel a lot better about my appearance in a lot of ways without glasses, so that's exciting. And, just the annoyance of not having to wear glasses is cool. But there are times where, like, if I'm not... Sometimes I have to, like, mentally think to focus my eyes on stuff, right? And, like, that can be quite tiring and not the best time. So, like, yeah. LASIK has more risk than the places that give you LASIK will lead you to believe. Fair warning. I think there's disgusting things happening to this Atraxa. Yeah, it's now a 5/5 with first strike, flying, vigilance, death touch, lifelink. That's some disgusting stuff. Yeah, they're gonna hit us with it. Don't love that. But we got the Blasphemous Act, so maybe we think about that at some point. Oh, funny story. Atraxa. Once you get any of the X and Y swords, Atraxa cannot block, and that is something that we might think about here. Just gonna ride this germ token as long as we can. Yeah. So yeah, the plan is well, yeah. Also, they're gaining life like crazy. Wonderful. Which one's this? Makes 3/5/5 white angels. I mean, that's there are worse things than that. There are certainly much worse planeswalkers. And they're gonna proliferate. So they are there very soon. Yeah. In some sense, oh man, do we really have to use a Forge and Frontier hit just to chop that down? Don't love that. Loss of value. Also banning Mana Crypt Jeweled Lotus effectively means that they removed a roughly 2.5% chance of getting your commander out on turn 2. Statistically, that doesn't seem worth it. I don't think that number is correct. So, I ran this math earlier. If you look at one hand and you have only Soul Ring in your deck, you have about a 7% chance of having a Soul Ring in your opener. If you take your free mulligan, now that chance goes to about 14%. Seal of Cleansing, don't love that. Seal of Cleansing. Well, Spell Shock's probably off the table because they probably just shoot the Spell Shock, so we're going to have to wait. Hope. This is a good place to use the Seal of Cleansing because this thing's very disgusting when that gets flipped over. I lose to this card all the time. Basically every time I see it. Elspeth Conquers Death. Please, what? We exile on a Planeswalker? Exiling the Atraxa. That's interesting. Very interesting. Does give some ability to chop the Elspeth down. Oh god, that second mode is real nasty. Non-creature spells your opponents cast with cost 2 more to cast, so maybe that'll be a good turn to cast Anya, I think. And we'll try to figure out what to do this turn. Anyway, so if you have Mana Crypt and Soul Ring in your deck, that means that in one hand you have a 14% chance of having either one, and in two hands, if you take the free mulligan, what is it? I think it's 24% is your chance of having either one at the start, and this isn't even counting Jeweled Lotus yet. And I did the math on this. So if 4 players have about a 24 to 25% chance of having either of one of these cards, it means that there's a 68% chance that a player will have a Soul Ring or a Mana Crypt if all players have both in their deck. That means that 68% of games has a fast mana start. And again, not even counting Jeweled Lotus, which adds a little bit more. Jeweled Lotus wasn't like that. Jeweled Lotus was on the border for me. Personally. If we play a Sword of X and Y, they 100% shoot. Ooh, we have this thing. But we don't have the mana to do both. That is a thing. Okay. Maybe we just value. Maybe we just value more. Spell Shock? Oh, we could Spell Shock. Okay, yeah. We have a plan. We're going to do this. We're going to swing into the Planeswalker. Planeswalkers are also bad because that means people aren't losing life, and we need people to be losing life with this deck. You get a Plains this time. We're going to be on a Maria mana in no time. We're also going to be out of basics. Oh my god, I need more basics in this deck. Yeah, that's the thing to think about. If you have Sword of the Animus, Bitter Thorn, and Sword of Hearthenholm, and like Double Strike or something in your deck, more basics because you're gonna run out really quick. And like that is value that we'll be losing in probably a turn or two. Yeah, maybe about 2 to 3 turns, but see you later, Terrafilm. Yeah, I do agree. You were saying that Jeweled Lotus is the healthiest form of fast mana because it is pretty restrictive. Yeah, I agree with that. Like, if they didn't ban that one, I'd be okay, right? It is restrictive. You know, by like turn 4, turn 5, it's good, but it's not game breaking. It really just is like, did you get it on turn 1 or 2, and are you casting your your big value commander for like 5 mana on turn 2 or 3, right? That's really the problematic use case. So I think it's Spell Shock time, and then we just protect it with a blacksmith skill. And this will be hilarious to me. Spell Shock. I've been trying to get this thing into play for ages in a lot of decks because, the problem is that it will probably eat a removal spell most of the time, but if it doesn't, your opponents are going to lose a lot of life, especially the value decks. And that makes me happy. Shame about the crypts I have, but honestly looking forward to the format going forward. Yeah, right? That's kind of the thing. Spell Shock, first trigger, love it. Is that, again, a lot of people I've talked to they've kind of seen the greater good in that, like, these cards do warp the format pretty badly. Tymna just couldn't compete with the format. Yeah, so Tymna might come back into fashion a little bit. It'll be interesting. And so I talk about this in the video that I filmed earlier too, is that in 2017, when they did the weird ban list thing where they made their own 1v1 commander format and then used that ban list for the multiplayer commander on Magic Online, it basically meant that like Primetime was legal and Soul Ring and Mana Crypt were banned for about a month. And I got a decent amount of playtesting in with those things gone. And honestly, I had a lot more fun because no one could run away with the game by turn 4, right? Like up through turn 4 or so, things would still be like fairly evenly matched. If there was ever a time to shoot this thing, it would be, yeah, no, they did not shoot it. I'm a little annoyed about that because now we're going to die to this thing. That's always how it goes, just every single time. D-Man, he just took out the dock sides that were in a few decks. 3 of them from originally came out, traded during the deck when they were released when they were 25 at the time. Wow. You got it for a steal. Spell Shock is brutal in Torbrand? Yeah, I can see that. 2 crypts were both from packs. Wow, that is some lucky opening. Either you opened a ton of packs or you have incredible luck. I don't know which it is. The joy at Spell Shock continues tempting me to build Liesa V1. Wait, isn't Liesa black and white? That's a Canker Bloom. There's another Spell Shock. I have a feeling that, well, they don't have the mana, so that's cool. Wait. Oh, is it this opponent? Which opponent is this? Oh, is that over here? Ooh. Well, they don't have the mana either, so we have one more turn on Canker Bloom. We'll see how long Spell Shock lasts. What is my favorite Universes Beyond set? I mean, easily Jurassic Park, just because Jurassic Park is my favorite film of all time, the first one. But honestly, like overall, I'm not a huge fan of the Universes Beyond. some of them are all right. Like Lord of the Rings is fine because like Lord of the Rings and D&D also like they're very magic in their flavor, right? Like it's very similar to what magic is doing, so like those don't bother me as much. Walking Dead could do without. What else have we had? The ones that are just like way out there that like you know aesthetically are not magic. I don't care for those ones as much, even though the cards themselves, like mechanically, are usually cool. Like everything they print now is like usually good somewhere. So, that's all fun. But yeah, just there's a little too much product for me. I think they've really sold out their IP and it's just like, yeah, whoever wants to do a brand deal, let's go. Atraxa, Spell Shock, love it. What do I think of Innkeeper's Talent? I gotta look at which one that is. I feel like I looked that one up. Innkeeper. Yeah, there's been just too many new cards for me to like remember things by name. Let's try Talent. Oh god. Oh, the text is so small. I cannot find it. That's annoying. They're gonna seal a cleansing and arcane signet? I mean, we're gonna die to this thing. That's just how it goes every single time. I guess the one saving grace is that our commander flies, and if we can do enough things, it'll be indestructible. Does it give it trample? Doesn't give it trample, but it's a green deck, so easy to get. Innkeeper? Oh. I passed it. Innkeeper. Innkeeper. We're going to get it right one of these times. Yeah, they're going to give it a bunch of things again. Yep. Whoa, thought this was a new upload. Live gameplay, yeah. So one of the things I've been struggling with is that like I can film the videos, I don't necessarily have time to edit the videos anymore. So there's probably going to be a lot more like streaming happening as opposed to my previously edited game content. I do have a couple things I've been working on where I've been doing more like talking head style videos. Just Magic Online gameplay is not what it used to be. People do not seem all that interested in it, so it just makes more sense for me at this point to stream the games rather than try and sit there and edit everything the way that I used to do. Do I need an editor? I can't afford an editor, right? So like the videos literally don't make enough money to hire an editor anymore, which is unfortunate. And with Magic Online gameplay, I just don't think they ever will. Is sort of the issue. I think that ship has sailed. Unless WotC does something to like rehab Magic Online and make it nice and sleek and advertises for it like they don't do, then yeah, it's probably, I think also we're in like a magical lull right now, right? Like things were getting bigger and better and more people and all this and that up through the pandemic, and now we're kind of in that like down period, so it's just tougher right now. Well, Spell Shock survived to turn around the table. Love that. Anika, Hand of Erebos. That's their commander. Menace. Other enchantment creatures you control have Menace. Enters or attacks, exile up to one target non-aura enchantment card from your hand or graveyard. Create a copy that's a 3/3 zombie of it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. Seal of Cleansing, coming back. Okay, well, that's probably why they used it on the Signet then. But I really wish they used it on the Oh, crap. We're on mode 2 now. We're not going to be able to protect Spell Shock if they shoot it right now. Disrupt Decorum here could be fun. So I've got all 3 of these in the deck. I've got Disrupt Decorum, Take the Bait, and what's the other one? The Rampart ones. And these seem like a great way to get your opponents below half-life. And I'll talk about our commander's ability here. We're kind of taking our... Actually, we'll do it right now since... Oh, Blind Obedience, huh? I mean, they're definitely going to try to shoot a Blind Obedience. Also, it costs 2 extra to cast, so I think this is just the Anya turn. Do we have any good attacks anywhere? We can swing into this Garrick. That's not a horrible idea. Yeah, swing into the Garrick. I mean, they can block with this if they want to, but... 2 more lands. Keep them coming. Plains. And a mountain. Yeah, they're not going to block that. Love it. This is too good. I mean, it's a piece of removal. I wouldn't trade that either. Yeah, we just cast our commander right here because we got that +2 cost on non-creature spells, so... Ouch. We get dinged for 2. Man, that second mode is nasty. I gotta play this more. I really just like... It's 5 mana, so it's like, yeah, you know, it's just like a little tough at 5. If it was 4 mana, all day. But man, that second mode... Whew. That's a shame that people aren't interested in the content anymore. Well, I might miss out on a live here and there. I'll watch whenever I can. Yeah, and I'll post the VODs the next day too, or whenever they, you know, whenever the thing uploads them. So you can always kind of go back and watch them if you want. Yeah, it just, you know, it's... Are we protecting this? So the problem is, we use the spell, and then if they don't want it, then it just kind of goes... I think we just got to let it go. Yeah, it is that kind of card, isn't it? I'd rather hold the blacksmith skill than use it in a way... Oh, God, they're going to untap it. Don't love that. Rather than use it in a way that, like, we're just kind of going to waste it. With how weaponized life gain is over the years, I'd love to see you play Aloro, no matter how blasphemous that sounds. Yeah, I have nightmares facing 1v1 Aloro decks, because 1v1 Aloro is, I don't know, 55 removal spells, like counter spells and removal spells. It is a bad time. At least it was like 8 years ago or whatever. But now it's probably just like turn 3 combo. At least it's quick. But Primordial Hydra. Yep. Elspeth and Brago is absurd. I could see that. Any enchantment matters kind of deck. Haven't been able to catch Tribal Kai on MTGO lately. I try to sneak in a game if he's in. Yeah, I don't know what his schedule is like. I don't know if he's playing a lot or not. I mean, you know, depending on how hard you go at this, at some point you just kind of need a break. So he might be taking a break. I don't know, but Yep, that's all a thing. Anyway, I was going to talk about our commander. So, Anya, Merciless Angel, 5 mana for a 4/4, flying. It gets +3/+3 for each opponent whose life is less than half their starting life, so 19 or less, and has indestructible if an opponent's life is less than half their starting life, 19 or less. So, while that sounds good in theory, you'll notice that it's now turn 6, and opponents are at 36, 43, and 36, so nowhere near that. And the main problem, probably the biggest issue, is that when you kill an opponent, they're no longer at the table, so you no longer get the bonus from that player because they're no longer a player. So that is probably the biggest issue. Like, in some sense, I feel like they probably didn't play test this card because that feels bad. It feels bad that when the player dies, you lose what the card is doing. And, you know, there's ways they could have made this better. They made it like, who's the cool card there? The demon guy. Withingar. Withingar gets triggers whenever someone loses the game, right? If they did something more like that, where the effect is permanent, then that'd be cool, right? Because then you could just kill people at will and then keep getting more size and more stuff. So yeah, the problems with this commander are many, in that it's mostly a 5 mana 4/4 flyer, and it is very difficult to trigger those abilities. And the way that games play now, people tend to go from a high life total, like 36, and lose all of their life in one turn. It's not this slow chipping of damage anymore, right? Like, it's like, oh, someone gets really far ahead and then just sends a crater hoof their way and then they're dead, right? And yeah, it's just it is tough. It is tough to make this thing work. Sorin Solemn Visitor. Maybe run Disrupt Decorum this turn. That one's always fun. What's the last mode? Bring back target creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard. They don't have any of those, so that's good. That's a token. Gotta pump the old creatures. Yep. Thanks for joining, Duodenum. Oh, geez, right in the Duodenum. There was a fog recently printed that gets +10/+10 for each dead opponent. Pretty good card. Oh, I gotta see that one. I haven't seen that one. I think it is time for a sip of water. All right, at least it's going over there. Can appreciate that. Should get the errata treatment. Yeah. You know, slippery slope, right? Like, would I love them to fix this card mechanically? Yes. The best way to do that is probably to print a new one. They aren't really in the habit of, like, we made this card bad, so we're going to errata it. And I don't know that I want to, like, open that can of worms necessarily. So yeah, just give me, you know, very similar art, maybe even like almost the same art, right? On a new card and with some effects that like actually make sense. And yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be fun. I'm going to share this with you guys. I probably shouldn't. I don't want to get everyone's hopes up, but here we go. So last week I was thinking about this, and really this started a few years ago, but I was on a mission to play every Boros commander, and I have a spreadsheet with all of them listed on it. I stopped working that around October of 2022 because that was I got a second job after that, and so 2023 I was just working like a dog. I was making really good money, which was fun, but uh, and that's kind of when like I really didn't have a lot of time to do commander stuff. But uh, at that point in time, I had played I think like how many did I have left? I had 7 left. I think I had played like 45 of 53 Boros commanders or something like that at least once. And since October of 2022, almost exactly 2 years, it has gone from 56 Boros commanders to 103. Literally double. And, now I'm still in the 40s. And part of me is like, it'd be fun to sit there and try and go through all of them, but that is a massive time commitment. And I would definitely have to do it as live streams because, again, the editing for that is just, that's, basically like double or triple the amount of time it would take to do each one. Yep, that Elspeth Conquers Death's coming back. Awesome. Please shoot a planeswalker? They shoot the dude. Stop shooting the Atraxa. I mean, I guess I guess they're gonna run up the bill on Atraxa, which isn't the worst thing I've heard of. But we got to get these planeswalkers out of here, right? These planeswalkers are a problem. I guess he's putting some damage. How much is that? That'll be 6. Oh, that'll drop the Sorens. That's good. Okay. Okay, it's not as bad as I thought. But yeah, and I guess that does run up the cost on Atraxa, and also they're not gaining a million life with it not being in play. Okay, not that bad. Make a series. Yeah, that was something I was thinking about doing. I do want to, and the whole goal of that is I wanted to do a tier ranking of every Boros commander, having played all of them, and that was sort of the initial goal. Again, with 103, like with how long it would take to film the like 55 or whatever that's remaining, there will be more printed, so that number will keep getting ever bigger. Oh my god. Uh, I really want to do it, but it sounds daunting, and it's the type of thing that, like, opponent just scoops. Nice. Uh, that is the type of thing where, like, I need that to be, like, financial. I need that to make financial sense in the amount of time that it would take to do all that, because that is just a massive project. And right now, it's not really there. With that being the case, let's play the Witch's Clinic. I think we disrupt Decorum right here. Oh, crap. I should have put Blind Obedience first. This should get some people's life totals below half. Oh, don't you counter this. Oh, they're just going to put some counters on this. Okay. They're going to double the number of counters. Ooh, that is actually a thing. Because that's, if they double it again, then it's at a Blasphemous Act range, and that's not good. Being your upkeep, ooh, that's gonna double in their upkeep. Crap. Well, I mean, I guess it's their problem for a turn, so there's that. Do we want? I think we want Forge and Frontier. Still has the Seal of Cleansing. Equip the Forge and Frontier. Another land off the top would be good. Hopefully we don't hit anything that we don't want. I've been thinking about whether to leave this token back, and I think I'm just going to cash in the token. It's going to get blocked somewhere, but you know, 2 more lands, and I think the last basics in our deck is 2 more lands. That is just so much ramp that it is hard to turn that down. We'll send these in over. I guess we'll split them. This enchantment opponent scares. Which opponent scares me more? No, I think the Simic deck scares me more. I lose to this card all of the time. Just every time I see it. So, should probably make some steps to let that not happen. We've gotten so many lands with this. Would we start it? So, Sword on 2, Bitterthorn on 3, and then we started attacking on turn 4, so I think we've done that, what, 4 times? Turn 4, 5, 6, and now 7. Yeah, 4 times, that's 8 lands off this. That is how you set yourself up for success. That's weird. Yep. Has the name weird right there. Well, we're down to our last basic, so there that is. Yeah, with all that stuff, upping the basic land count is a good idea. Well, I'll just say yes just in case, but yep, nothing left. And, you know, that's a product of, like, if you're not on Magic Online and you don't have a ton of fetches and duels and all that stuff, it's actually going to help you because you'll have more slots for basics. And that is a very good thing. Opponent's going to try and seal and cleansing the sword. This is a good time for that. We're going to protect it with the blacksmith skill. Although, there's a world in which we could just get it back with this thing. I've already done it now. I kind of want this value. I'd really like to hit another land. You are still the Boros commander. Nice. Maybe add a tally or something unique for each at the end. Yeah, I mean, the idea is to kind of like tier rank them all. Uh, in case any of you are wondering, Anya is currently listed at F tier. In that, I would not recommend playing it ever under any circumstances. Opponent takes a little poke with some commander damage for 6, and here's our Forge and Frontier trigger. Let's see how we do. God, opponents could be a little quicker with the... Well, that hurts. Stoneforge and Archaeomancer's map going down. You know, maybe it made more sense to go after the Planeswalker right there because we knew we weren't going to have any mana. Whoops. Opponent's going to activate their Jace. Love seeing me in my natural colors. Yeah. Be the legendary Boros commander we all love. Ah, Boros. You're the reason I got into playing Boros. Hoffrey is my favorite commander in that color pair. Yeah, Kristen loves Hoffrey. She tells me about it every time we talk. And it is a cool deck. It's not my brand of deck. You know, I'm an attacking guy. I like attacking a lot, and Hoffrey's more value-y. If you like your value, Hoffrey's a very good commander. Is Tajik Blade of the Legion still a viable commander? I need to look up which one Blade of the Legion is. I forget the names of the 2 of them. Blade of the Legion. Oh, yeah, okay. So, if you were going to build that deck, you know, what is the word? Viable? Viable, yes. And the way that I would build this is a million board wipes. It is indestructible, and I would use that very heavily. Um, I would probably run, if I wanted to make it like good and compete with other strong decks, I'd probably run like 8 to 10 board wipes, and uh, I'd probably run all of the other creatures that are indestructible: Iroas, Sulfum, the white one that does that with the thing, and basically anything you can get that's indestructible or pro red. That is. Oh well, that's crappy. So now that opponent's gone, they can just attack us, and that's annoying. So, yep. Now we die when we're not supposed to. It's very frustrating. Because opponent scooped. So that's annoying. And like I said, here we are, losing to Hadana's Climb once again. Once again. Yep. Yep. I'm a little salty about that. A little salty about that. Oh, next card. Annoying. All right. I might try one more here. CEDH only. What time is it? 10:40. Yeah, that's sort of the issue with this commander, is that it doesn't give you. This game ended before anyone got to Half-Life. Now I get it, 2 people scooped, and that is a problem with Magic Online. So it makes Anya like even worse than it would be otherwise. But I didn't think about like, oh, planeswalkers soak up damage. Now people aren't losing life as quickly. And yeah, it's a rough ride. Hooray for king making concessions. Yep. 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 Pretty annoyed. Pretty annoyed. Come on, good opening hands. 1 land, 2 land, 3 land, a creature, and a Sword of the Animus. That looks like a keeper to me. Keep. Marchesa. Kega the Tidestar. There's one you don't see. And Corvald Gleeful Glutton. Don't know this one. Cost 1 less for each card type. Among permanents you have sacrificed. Flying Trample Haste. When it deals combat damage to a player, put X plus counters on it. Draw X cards, where X is the number of permanent types in your graveyard. It seems less disgusting than the other Corvald. It still seems very strong, though. At least it's 8 mana. Has cost reduction, though. Where can I find the bands? mtgcommander.net. Are the bands live on MTGO already? I believe they are. Which does mean, so like, I don't know if you guys knew this, but like the rules committee does have discussions with WotC. They aren't like, 2 ships sailing in the night that have no idea what each other's doing. Like, they have communication, and so they're aware of these things. Like when Iona got banned, Iona was banned on Magic Online the same day that they announced it, because I really wanted to try and build Helm of the Host Iona one time before that went down. And it's like, just give me like 2 days to like do this one thing, and then, have your ban, right? So, they're in contact with each other, and as far as I'm aware, I haven't seen any Mana Crypts today, so I think that means that they're gone. And yeah, so, and obviously to program that stuff, they need to know ahead of time, and like, probably at least a month ahead of time. So yeah, people at WotC, I'm sure, have known for probably a month or 2 at least at this point. And when you were on, they were all marked as illegal cards. Yeah, that makes sense. Pure Steel Paladin is also a Magic card. Play the Plains, tap and pass. Also, we're going first. Love that. Also, make sure you guys hit the like button. Corval 2 is powerful, but looks fun. Yeah, it looks interesting. It doesn't look as just like completely busted in half as the other one. So there is that. But yeah, who did I talk to? I think it was Sheldon. Might have been Sheldon. I've interacted with, I think, 3 of the rules committee members. Sheldon, before he passed, I asked him some questions. I never got to play with him, sadly. When the it was actually, yeah, it was in this universe, secret layer, no, universe beyond secret layer, maybe it was all of them. When the Walking Dead stuff came out and everyone was losing their mind, and like everyone was like saying some real nasty stuff about Sheldon, I wrote an email to, I said, Sheldon, hey, I want to do a little piece, like, I've got some questions for you. And he's like, okay, send me an email. And I emailed my questions over him. He took the time. He answered all 10 questions, and I'm very thankful for that. And who else did I played a game with Scott Larrabee at Magic Fest Austin in 2020. That was like a month before the pandemic hit. And then I played a game over webcam with, was it Gavin? I think his name is. And so, yeah, I've interacted with a few of these people, and somewhere along the line, I've chatted with them, and they're like, yeah, we talk to wizards, right? We're not like two completely separate entities that have no idea what's going on with one another. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like they're they're sort of equal partners in what they do. They both want each other to succeed, kind of thing. So, wow, it shows how long it's been since I played Magic. Did not know Iona was banned. Oh man, yeah, that was a while ago. I want to say 2019. Pretty sure it was 2019, which is what? That's 5 years ago now. Yeah, yeah. And like at the time, I was very upset, but I have ruined a lot of what otherwise would have been fun games with Iona. And I always made the comparison to like Void Winnower. Like, if Iona's banned, why is Void Winnower still in the format? And the problem is incentive. If you're not hit by the Iona, you have no incentive to get rid of that Iona. With a Void Winnower, you have incentive to get rid of it because it'll probably kill you, right? So, they are just different in that sense. And like Vorinclex is another nasty one, the original one, where like it's really bad if it stays in play, but every other player has incentive to get rid of it. And the problem with Iona is that it just wasn't there. And yep, ruined a lot of fun games with that card. Either 19 or 18 wasn't long before you moved. I think it was 19 because I remember doing that little Iona video that's on my channel, and I'm pretty sure it said 2019 on the like. I had her dates. I think it was 2010 to 2019 or something like that. So yeah. Ameria, this could be the turn to get Ameria in. There's no artifacts or enchantments we need to blow up yet. So yeah, I think we go Sword of the Animist. We'll draw the card. Use the ability. It's another land. Okay. And play the Ameria. Who do we want to poke? Kega, mono blue. Never Jund. It's going to be the Jund deck. It's not the other Corvald, but it's still a Corvald. Opponent takes 2. Pass like that. You remember a game where a player played in Iona and shut down 5 decks by calling black, so 2 monocolors and 2 multicolors couldn't play? Yeah, right? That's what Iona does. Actually, my favorite... I need to make a short out of this. Maybe... I gotta write this down. I'm writing this down. I need to get back on my shorts game, too. Just, man... My job has been just annoying enough that I haven't been able to like stay consistent on the content. Like there's just enough work to annoy the crap out of me that I can't like, devote like 2 hours to doing a thing. Um Anyway, so my favorite Iona story is I was playing a game of Sheriff or Bang or whatever variant you want to call it, and so unknown allies basically, and the kid next to me was playing a mono blue deck, and it was late into the game, and he was about to go off. The problem is he hasn't attacked anyone all game because he's a mono blue deck, and that's not what they do. And so I couldn't figure out whose team he was on because he hadn't attacked anyone or like really done much of anything that would like kind of give his position up. And so he was motioning to win the game and like doing all the stuff. And I Quicksilver amuleted in Iona naming Blue to stop what he was doing. And he's like, dude, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know, you're about to win and I don't know whose team you're on. And so I instant speed slam the Iona on Blue, stop him halfway. Turns out he was my teammate, and we would have won the game. And I'm pretty sure we both lost the game after that. I can't remember exactly how it went down. Although I did have an Iona in play, so I don't know. I can't remember past that part, but that was a really fun moment. I need to make a short of that. Write that down. Glad to see me still making content. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you to all of you, by the way. Shambling Remains. What? I have a ton of these in a box somewhere. Great card for standard. Terrible for EDH largely. Just like hard to justify that slot, right? But cool aggro card in standard. Well, there's a farewell. Yeah, I put one of those in here. So, the key with this deck is that you probably need the game to go long, and this is a great way to make the game go long. Also, it's going to be super helpful against Marchesa, so we'll wait a little bit to get that nice and set up. What we're doing right now, let's get the Hainware Battlements, yeah, just in case of a wheel or something. Equip this thing. Neither of those can block, so I guess we go over to the Marchesa deck. Those can be a little scary sometimes. Little awkward that we don't have anything else to follow it up with on 2. Definitely need a mountain. And we'll pass like that. Oh, wait. No. Oh. Turn off auto yields. We do have a 2-mana play. We have this thing. Haha. Crap. I missed it. The lag. That's annoying. Well, value wasted. Looking at the ban list, you can still run slivers and elementals. Yeah, I mean, they banned cards that were egregious, right? Like they weren't trying to like dismantle the format, right? It's literally just, oh, are you trying to win the game on turn 3? We're going to slow that down a little bit. Now it'll take you a few extra turns to the point where someone should be able to interact with you, and now you can have like a meaningful game, right? Been a hot minute since you thought about Shambling Remains? Yeah, right? Like, just cool old card from a different era that, largely hasn't had a home in EDH. So it's cool to see. It's cool to see. I mean, there's something to think about too, is that like, up until they started just printing like everything for Commander, right? Commander was the place where like old weird cards went to like have some kind of livelihood. And the problem now is like, if the card's not good enough for Commander most of the time, right? It's like, where do you play it? And then you just have these like relics of the past that don't have a home and don't do much, and that's all disappointing. What does this one do? Makes a treasure. Exile top 3 cards of your library. An opponent's library. You may play those cards this turn. Okay. I'm probably going to use that one more. That one seems decent. Love this land, River of Tears. Cool art. Very interesting vibe. Creates like a weird memory problem if you're playing in paper, and particularly like if it's a tournament. That's like, if you forget, that's like a hard thing to verify. There comes the Marchesa. Yep. Still worried that if people see slivers, they will leave the table. You know, I wonder about that. I haven't seen a slivers deck in a while. Yeah, they're both going to dethrone. Yeah, I mean, slivers are good, but I guess it also depends on which sliver commander you're running. Because, like, the Cascade one is disgusting. I guess there's a lot of combos with the slivers. Yeah, so it probably depends on which sliver commander you're running, partly. But, like, by today's standards, the non-Cascade deck slivers are probably fine-ish, right? They're still a little strong. Like, if the indestructible one comes down, that's always a headache. And, you know, there's just, if the team's indestructible, there's just, like, not a lot of ways to interact with that. There's more now than there ever used to be, but, you know, it's still just kind of a rough spot to be. Yeah, played Plains. Do we try to flip a Dowsing Dagger? Maybe we try a Mask of Memory. Yeah, I think we get a Mask of Memory. Because, like, it's not threatening enough that, like, there's some open blue mana here. They probably don't counter a Mask of Memory. Also gets us another free card draw, which is good too. So, Mask of Memory. Cast the Mask of Memory. Yep, opponent's sitting there thinking, don't love that. There's the ETB. Love that. Use the ability. Another land. Also love that. We'll equip the Mask of Memory. Opponent looks like they have feelings about this. March of the Swirling Mists. Creature phases out. Yeah, that's annoying. I mean, I guess it's better than bouncing it, honestly. Like, it could be worse, but I would like to be getting that value there. Yeah, I guess we pass like that. Probably need to slow down. It's probably worth shooting a Mana Rock from the blue deck here. What was this one? Add 3 mana of any one color. Yeah, I mean, we don't want that to happen. Played a game where 3 of us had slivers and triple teamed the Ur-Dragon player. Sounds like a miserable time. That sounds awful. Are there any tribes that you would like to see get a commander and get flushed out, or have we had enough tribes currently? I feel like a lot of the janky tribes have a somewhat reasonable commander now. A tribe that I always liked was Spider Tribal. Um, a truly like Ishkana is more combo-y and doesn't like care about running a bunch of spiders in your deck. What's the other one? Who's the Jun guy? I can't remember his name. Starts with a T, I think. Also, like, not the greatest for a spider deck. I would like to see a better spider commander just because I think spiders are fun. It's something that's probably got to give them. You know what you probably have to give them? You probably have to give them like the door and the siege tower effect, where they attack based on their toughness, and then pump them up a little bit. Maybe give them a keyword, that kind of thing. But in general, I think they've really, because I mean, they print so much product now, right? Like we talked about it, in 2 years, they literally doubled the number of Boros commanders that exist. Actually, fun history. I should do a video on this too, and I've been thinking about it a little bit. But Boros history. The first two Boros commanders were Agros Kos and Razia, printed in 2005. There were literally no red-white legendaries before 2005. From 2005 till about 20 Gate Crash 2013, I think, there were only 4 Boros commanders. Add Aurelia to the list, add Brian Stoutarm to the list. And from 2013 to now, about 10 years, they've added 100 of them. Literally 100 of them. So yeah, I mean, that just shows you how much product they're printing. And with that much product, yeah, most janky tribes have gotten a commander at this point because just they're printing so many cards that it's like at some point they just need ideas. Like, oh, what's that weird thing I want? Elephant tribal. Okay, let's make an elephant tribal deck because I've had to design like 200 cards today for 4 different sets that are all coming out in the next 3 months. I know that's not quite how it works, but you get the idea. Fantas, that's the one. Yeah, Fantas is a funny commander. Should play more Fantas. Coolest play. I need to do a short on this one too. I'm gonna write this one down. Coolest play that never got to happen because MTGO crashed. I was playing Fantas Spider Tribal, as you do, and I had Arachnogenesis in hand. Opponent cast a Storm Herd, so they had like 28 tokens. Wow, does that steal any permanent? That steals a land? Oh, that's not okay. The red land at that. Yep, that's how much mana do we have? I might just farewell and nuke everything. I'm not thrilled about that. And I don't want to find out what sort of trickery that they're gonna pull with this, because what was I saying? Oh yeah, Fantas. So Arachnogenesis in hand, opponent casts a Storm Herd, 28 tokens. I cast Arachnogenesis, get 28 spiders. I had a Kindred Discovery in hand. I was about to tutor for every spider in my deck when the game crashed, and I was so sad. Play was gonna be amazing. Bro, I mean, you can't block with these. You might as well send them somewhere. Well, not at us. Okay, opponent's going to spread it around. Dethrone. All right, so I'm tempted about blowing up all the artifacts with Farewell, but that will hit us. That's our 2 value pieces right there, and I'm not like... we don't have the mana to fairies that. Ooh, you know what, though? We won't have red mana, so we're not going to be able to Farewell this turn. We need to get like at least one more mountain with sword. The spear is interesting. Play War Room. What is this thing? A 3/3? We have a 3/3. Mask of Memory. Use this one. Yeah, we literally don't have the red mana for this, so can't play that. Swing into the Jund opponent. Get that value that we crave. Get a mountain. Mask of Memory. Use the ability. Land tax. Is that going to do anything for us? Probably not. We have a Sword of the Animus, so discard the land tax. Do have our next land drop lined up, which I like. Play the Blind Obedience. And sit on it to Teferi's Protection. Pass like that. Poor Ur-Dragon tried killing me and ended up getting nuked by 1818 double strike lifelink indestructible trample slivers. Yep, that's about how I would expect that to go. Having a lot of fun thinking with Eartha Joe. Yeah, Eartha Joe is a cool and powerful little commander. Lots to do with it. I think I played. Did I play Eartha Joe? I can't even remember. Like, there's just so much stuff that comes out. I know I played the other one, the Burn one, Tai Joaquin. I thought about playing Eartha Joe. I don't remember if I actually finished it and posted it or not. Any Duskmourn hype? No, I largely don't get hyped about sets anymore because there are too many sets. Yeah, when someone's like, "Hey, there's this new card coming out," I'm like, "Oh yeah, that card looks pretty cool." But for the most part, it is just actually overwhelming to stay on top of sets at the rate in which they come out. I can actually look this up. Hold on one second. Nope, that's not what I needed to do. YouTube Studio. Have I played Eartha Joe? Binding of the Old Gods. I'm sure I'm not going to like this. I did not post the Eartha Joe deck. I don't remember if it didn't finish getting made or what the case was. Okay, opponent's going to destroy that mana rock. Love that. Love that. What's this thing? Whenever a non-token zombie you control enters, create a token that's a copy of it. That's also disgusting. Yep. Wayfarer's Bauble. Hope the blue player doesn't counter the Teferi's Protection. Yeah, that's, that is always a risk, isn't it? Yeah, it doesn't look like I posted the Eartha Joe video, but I was thinking about building one, and it's probably one half built somewhere. I was going to send the old 7/7 over to the Marchesa opponent. You'd be happy if WotC chilled out with sets. Primal Surge, Tana, Tevesh deck constantly wins turn 6 without crypt or fast rocks. Yeah, right. I mean, that's kind of the place that we're at. Just decks are super, super consistent, and I think the format's a little bit worse for that, right? Part of the fun of Commander is that you didn't always know how the game was going to go, and now you can very reliably make sure that the same things happen every game. Call it the final boss of your LGS. Nice. So one that we've been working on behind the scenes, one of my Patreon supporters has been helping me out, Zeno. We've been looking at Ash. What is it? Party Celebrator something? Ash. That's probably going to bring up a ton of cards, isn't it? Kega coming in. Gross. Oh, it's a theft deck. I see what's going on. That's not disgusting at all. Ash Party Crasher. 2 mana 2/2 with haste. If 2 or more non-land permanents entered under the battlefield this your control this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Also in the running for pretty bad Boros commander. It is a tough sell. Zeno said he had some success. We tried building it with like a lot of like living weapon type stuff where you're triggering that ability, and just that's kind of a trap. It wasn't good. It's not worth doing that. But he said he started messing with just making it like a straight Voltron, and I could actually see just like a 2/2 that slowly gets bigger as a Voltron. 2/2 with haste that slowly gets bigger isn't the worst thing for a Voltron deck, because if it gets blown up, you recast it with haste, and, you know, again, if it stays in play, then it slowly gets bigger. Is it amazing? No. Are there better options? Most certainly. But it may... The question is it an F-tier commander? That's really what I'm after. And I have not figured that out yet. Liliana's Mastery. So we're doing a zombie Marchesa thing, it looks like. We're on 8 mana. We need 9 to do Teferi's Protection and Farewell at the same time, so that's not going to happen just yet. Ooh, big attack into the Jund deck. Love that. It is an 11/11, though, so there is that. So, yeah, maybe we're not on Farewell just yet. Oh, down to 14. You know what that is? That's less than half life. Maybe we're on the Anya turn. Is this the Anya turn? Although Spear looks pretty good with all this going on. That's a Rogue's Passage. Let's get the Spectator seating. Also, ooh, this will be a free equip. So, yeah, like most definitely the Spear. Yeah, let's get a little Extort in there. We've got 5 mana left. What else are we doing? Yeah, we probably just want to sit on Teferi's Protection. Would love to get the Descent from Avernus, but, you know, we have the Protection spell at this point, so we kind of just gotta hold it up until it is needed. And we draw a card. Pure Steel Paladin. Such a good card. Ancient Tomb. That's a nice one. Free equip. Got our land drop for next turn setup. Where to send this thing? These two have a little blood feud going on. Maybe we go over to the blue deck. Kind of just want to let them duke it out and not really get in their way. There is also a world in which, like, making the token here wouldn't be completely terrible. Although we need the double strike to not die in combat, so I guess double strike it is. Sword of the Animist. Get a mountain. Next turn, we'll have the mana for Teferi's Protection and Farewell. Yeah, they're going to block. That's fine. We won't draw the cards. I do feel better with this being out of play, though. Down it goes. Pass like that. What's the second mode on this? Search your library for a forest, put it on the battlefield. It's not that bad. Death Touch is can be a little scary, though. It's already got Trample. Yeah, that is menacing. That is menacing. Boros Skullbriar. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good likening. Just that I would say that Skullbriar is probably much better. You play Ash so that you can be sad that you aren't playing Skullbriar instead. Yeah, that tracks. The Ozolith, yeah, I mean the Ozolith's not a bad idea for that. The Ozolith is one of those cards that has a bad habit of getting blown up though, so you're gonna need a lot of protection to keep it alive. Opponent Kraken Fetch is going down to 12. Here's a question. So, like, I've been championing Blind Obedience for the last 2 or 3 years. With Dockside gone, does Blind Obedience lose value? It's still a very good card that does a lot of horrible things to your opponents, but is it as necessary if someone isn't making 30 treasures? I don't know. I do like it though, like if you have a lot of mana, it is kind of a win condition because you just slowly drain everyone. Polygoyf, Trample Myriad, Bauble. So this is Commander Lethal if opponent doesn't do anything about it. Yeah, down they go. How many? Oh, don't tell me they're going to draw 11, because that would be bad. No, it's X cards, where X is the number of permanents in your graveyard. They still go up to 10 cards. That is still a lot. They have, was it about 3 mana left? So, yeah, I mean, we're probably still looking at trying to get that farewell going. Reclamation Sage probably goes after Blind Obedience. No, I'm going to go after the Spear. Do we let that go? Yeah, I want to. I really want to do the Teferi's farewell thing. I think that's where we really need to be. I mean, that'll basically auto win the game. Ooh, or we cast our commander, which will be a 7/7. We give it haste with this, and then we just swing away because opponent is wide open. So we might actually get an Anya kill, and that would be magical. Yeah, maybe that's what we do. That seems like a plan. Opponent leaves all their mana up. Don't love that. Problem is, it is going to take a lot of mana to do this. Even with Ancient Tomb, I feel like we're still going to be... Yeah, they have 1 card left. They have 1 card left. They didn't play anything. Like, that's... I mean, that so feels like a Cyclonic Rift. Like, that's just... That is just what it feels like. Feast and Famine is a Magic card. Feast and Famine would definitely draw the Cyclonic Rift. That is for sure. Okay, so we take that much to get Anya, and then 2 more, and then... Oh, we do have yeah, okay, we do have enough of the Teferis. Okay, so we're going to try that play, just so we can try and get a kill with Anya, as for her to actually do something. And, like, get those bonuses. Yeah, play the Ancient Tomb. Cast Anya. Extort. No, we don't have the bandwidth to extort in this moment. Our mana is spoken for. Haste the Anya. She is currently a 7/7 and indestructible. It is really hard to get that to trigger. Really, really hard. You'll notice that one opponent, like, straight up died. They went from, I don't know, 20-something life and just took all the commander damage. And then we attack the opponent for Xaxes. I don't think that they would riff this. They might do it at the end step, but there's, like, no reason to do this mid-combat. Unless they want to watch us die to the Corvald, which I guess could happen. But I feel good about our red mana right now. Let's get another Plains. Ha! We got a kill with Anya. Love that. Nice. That is exciting. Draw 2. Slayer Stronghold's more haste. This is land destruction. That could be a thing. What's this do? Oh, Temple of the False God. Okay. Vigilance could be a thing. I'm going to get rid of the Slayer Stronghold. We have haste already. The 2-0 is nice, but 2-0 Vigilance haste is, I think we'll be okay. As a Daybreak account, do you get access to cards that aren't technically in the card pool? I have access to every card that's on Magic Online. There are some cards where, like, they're like half on Magic Online where they had red borders forever. Descent from Avernus was one of them. It's finally actually available on Magic Online within the past couple months, even though it's been out for, 2 or 3 years. And so, yeah, I have every card that's available on Magic Online. Trying to walk you through, like, it gets really complicated with Secret Layers and Universe Beyond products. Some of them are on there, some of them just aren't. And I know Doctor Who is not, and I don't know if it ever will be. So yeah, that's a whole kind of mess right there. Street Fighter isn't. I don't think it's ever coming. Gain control of target artifact, creature, or enchantment lands you control. Don't untap during your next untap step. That seems like a good time for a Teferi's Protection. Does opponent just scoop if we do this? And we can extort. The real question is, what is their last card? Mangara is interesting. Play the Rogue's Passage. Yeah, I mean, they still have exactly enough for a Cyclonic Rift, and now we don't have the protection for it, which I don't love. Creatures without flying can't block. This has flying. That's not helpful. Okay, I know what we can do. We can use Lauren right here to shoot the Thought Vessel and see if we can bait out some mana. We're not going to extort. Shoot the Thought Vessel. Now they don't have Cyclonic Rift mana. Okay, so we just... Could still have another Mass Bounce spell. Be pretty annoying. Let's try the Feast and Famine. I mean, I guess like, the Feast and Famine will free equip, so there is that. Plus another card draw. We'll Blind Obedience this one. But, like, I mean, all of this, an opponent's still at 30, right? We're on turn 9 of this game. No bonuses for Anya. Draw a card. Sinew and Steel is also a good card. I'm going to try not to get too greedy again in case we get bounced. I'm going to put this on the... we do need to make our commander unblockable, don't we? Yeah, we do. Okay. Which means put everything on the commander. And go to combat. Send this in. Land. Get a plains. Make this unblockable. Rogue's Passage still does work. What a magic card. Was that Return to Ravnica? Oh, we hit. We hit. Opponent's still at 23. That's a frustrating number because they're like almost down to half. But I guess Indestructible may not be the biggest deal against the blue deck. A lot of it's going to be bounce. But what are we getting rid of? I don't know that Mangara's not going to do a ton here, I don't think. It is a creature, though. Things got weird. We never got to get this into play. I've always been wanting to use this, and sad that we can cast it right now, but it's probably not going to do all that much. Okay, they just scoop it right there. Yeah, we are. They have one card left, and we are way ahead on value. So we got a win with Anya, and we got a kill with Anya while having some bonuses. But again, it was literally one turn of a 9-turn game where we were actually getting the bonus from Anya. And the other one we got King Maid scooped, which was not so fun. Yeah, it's so incredibly difficult to get opponents into that position. And it's fleeting while they're there, because if they're low on life, you probably just want to kill them, because leaving them in the game is going to allow them to come back on you, which is not great. And yeah, so again, I think that sums it up perfectly. One turn of a 9-turn game, Anya actually did the thing. And that's why it's so bad. And that's why it just F-tier Boros Commander. I am excited that we did get a kill with it, though, right? That does, that does brighten things up a little bit, because I've played, I would say in my Commander career over the last like 5 years, I've played probably almost 10 games with Anya. Like, I was trying to make it work a couple years ago, and and again, still like kind of the best thing you can do with it is Voltron. You can maybe do like a Boros Reckoner thing, but still, I think it's tough just on how things go. I was looking at the Boros Reckoner build, trying to get like all the red burn spells in there, but like you have to be able to generate value, and you need the equipment to do that. So it's a whole thing. Yeah, it is a tough commander to make work, and you should play literally anyone else. Okay, I'm not going to play any more games, but I'll take a read through chat here just to see if there's anything else anyone wants to chat about before I go to bed. You have a Lord Windgrace deck that's fun to play. I doubt that, because it's Lord Windgrace and it's a lands deck. And I don't find lands decks particularly fun to face. They're super difficult to interact with. How can it be the worst if you haven't lost? Oh, I've lost a lot of games with Anya, just not this particular one. And, you know, that Corval did a lot of heavy lifting killing another player, so there was that. And the other player did a lot of heavy lifting killing them. So they are programmed on MTGO but haven't been distributed. I guess that's correct. I don't know. I don't know why they do. I don't know why the cards end up red sometimes. Did they fix the white Avernus one? I think they did, actually. Yeah, for the longest time, this one was also red and you couldn't use it. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what's going on behind the scenes with Magic Online. But how do I feel about Kalemny, who is from the same deck? It is better in that it is consistent. Well, it's good because it has double strike and vigilance. The experience counter ability on it is like pretty not good. Also tells me they probably didn't really like play tested super well. And but the fact that it has double strike and vigilance means putting equipment on it is just a good idea, right? Is it a great equipment commander? No. Again, there are many better options, but like I would put it around like C tier. It's fine, but you can do much better. Like if you want the double strike thing, Rayav. Rayav is super fast. Brunor is a really good equipment deck. Free equips, love that. So yeah, like Kalemny is playable. It's just frustrating because the design is really bad. Where Anya, the design is also really bad, and it's like I said, it's almost it's a 4/4 flyer. For most of the game, it's a 4/4 flyer for 5 mana, right? That's what it does, and super frustrating. So yeah, like it's not giving you much, and you spend there's a lot of setup for a payoff that is firmly not worth it. Like if you had some sort of like guaranteed indestructible on this, a 4/4 flyer indestructible, I can do a lot with that. I can run a million board wipes and all the red burn spells and things like that. So, yeah, I do have a video coming out on all this stuff, which is why it's all fresh in my mind. I've been meaning to get that edited, but I'm trying. I used my nice camera when I was doing that. This is my cheap webcam, but I used the nice camera when I shot that one, but I got to get the audio synced up, and that's a whole thing. So that should come out later this week. I do need to get the ban list video out tomorrow, so that'll be a whole thing. There's a 5-color Eldrazi that makes experience counters. I'd love to brew around them for cards like Kalemny. Yeah, that'd be interesting, right? Again, you know, and it like, you know, for all the setup of like playing expensive creatures, because you can only cast so many 5-drops in a game, or like 5+ creatures in a game. You know, if you cast 4 of them, that's doing really well in a game that's gone probably longer than you should expect it to on average, right? And so, you know, at best you're getting what, +4/+4, assuming that Kalemny didn't get shot or was in play when you did it. And like, again, the setup is not worth the payoff in that case. And with Kalemny, you're better off just strapping equipment to it and doing that thing. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys for watching the stream with me, and we'll have some new content this week. We got to get the band video out. I want to get the Worst Boros Commanders video out, which is what inspired me to do this stream here tonight. So thank you guys for joining, and we'll see you guys again real soon.